This is part and included in one of what we call the collapsing timelines. Many different scenarios that appear to be almost Armageddon-like may continue to present themselves and penetrate consciousness. This is done for the purpose of creating chaos and panic and fear. It is very important to direct your attention to the frequency of trust, to the frequency of abundance, to the frequency and the remembering that you are in alignment in the perfect place at the perfect time for your soul's evolution. You can choose to grasp or to hoard. Good afternoon and welcome everyone. My name is Kelly Kolodny. I'm the Angel Lady and I channel the Angel Raphael, and that's exactly what I'm going to do for you today. I'm going to be channeling Raphael, and I will be opening it up to those in our community who want to ask questions. You can raise your hand and ask a live question. Remember, the questions are to be universal, not personal, not about your brother-in-law or what job you're going to get, but what's going on for us collectively on the planet. You might be wondering why I have fruit and flowers and candles and statues behind me, and that is because we just began the Lakshmi light code of abundance. We are on the third day, and it has been a lot of fun. I'm sure everybody can attest to that. And for those of you listening, if you want to join us, it's not too late. You can catch up over the weekend. There are a total of 12 activations, transmissions, and teachings by myself, Debashri, and by Casey. All right, so with that, I am just going to start channeling. If you are new to my channel, I would love for you to subscribe below. And if you're new to me and who I am, I've been channeling since I was 21 years old, and I'm 57. So whatever that's adding up to these days, a long time. Channeling now is kind of everywhere, right? Everybody's channeling. Back in the day, nobody was, and I certainly wasn't telling people that that's what I was doing because they would think I was off my rockers. I predominantly channel the angel Raphael, but I do have access to many, many other beings that I can attune to their frequency and their vibration. And Raphael has just been this blessing in my life, filled with so much. And she has talked for a very long time about this moment in history. And we're here, we're in it, we're in this big change of awakening right now. And as we go through this awakening, a lot of people need support. It can create anxiety and concern. And so I feel that the tiny little part that I can do is my part to show up here at least once a week and channel for all of you and share Raphael's loving messages and bring you back into calibration of harmony and balance and love and to stay grounded. All right. So when I channel, I make toning sounds, my hands kind of move a bit, I rock back and forth, and I come in and I say, hello. And wherever you are in the world, you're just going to say hello right back. And that alone gives you a connection to the angel Raphael and a blessing and a healing. And then Raphael will come in, and my son Casey will be monitoring the call. We'll be asking Raphael questions and asking your questions here in the audience. So please raise your hand. You know how to do that if you have a question. Okay, so with that, let's begin. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. We are very delighted, as always, to be here and to attune to all of you and your energies as we are bringing blessings of love and healing. And so, what is it you're wanting to know?
Hi, Raphael. So we know that we're moving at on an accelerated ascension timeline, and we were wondering if what we could do at this moment with the current full moon to take advantage of these accelerating energies.
We are very delighted to inform you that yes, you are on an accelerated timeline toward ascension that is moving at a very rapid and quickened pace, as many more of you from an individual perspective than perhaps thought would be at this particular time in your linear understanding are coming into awakening. And as this is occurring, you are creating a web around the planet, a movement of energy. And this movement is very strong and very powerful as you are energetically ascending through many dimensions. As this is taking place, there are other aspects, or perhaps what you would perceive as timelines, that you are butting up against that have the profound potentiality to unfold in your experience in the collective consciousness is something in which you would witness together that are collapsing. And so what is occurring is that there is a energy that opens up these timelines as you are accelerating, and you have a window into timelines that pop up for a very short period of time that perceive something that could have played out at a much larger scale, that some will get what we would call enamored by and connected to. And in doing so, this filtrates this energy into the collective, but most are not being tricked by these energies in a sense and are able to continue on their acceleration process as they are ascending into higher frequencies. This moon that you speak of, that is very full, like all full moons, is an amplifier of these energies. And so you will notice during the time of these full moons that will, of course, continue every month throughout your year, that the energies will be even more amplified at this time than before. And perhaps often the polar opposite of the frequencies that are accentuated at that time will pop up. As an example, this particular moon is deeply in a relationship to water, and the opposite of water is fire. And it is that fire is rising in the conscious awareness of the collective for many as they place their attention upon it. And yet the full moon brings with it a lot of healing, in which the water, which is also associated with that of emotion, is arising, but can come in and begin to soften these ambers of energies that are amplified at this time. And so this is an amplification process, a lens of energy. And this year in particular is one in which all things are deeply amplified, accelerated, and moving at a very rapid pace. This is just the beginning of this acceleration process. And although it is perceived from your perception often as something that is negative, what is actually occurring, it is a collapsing of what we call false timelines as you are are moving into the 0 point energy of the organic timelines of the unified field. And all of that that is based in fear, that is perhaps a pop-up timeline in a sense, that is appearing in your awareness, is the possibility of which you will feel connected or be attracted to, or the timeline itself and you become a frequency match, in which it is an energy in which unfolds in your experience as part of what is needed for the acceleration process. However, we were wanting you to know that it is essential to remain focused on your intent, on unity, on love, as to where it is that you are headed through this evolving process. And this moon you speak of, that always is here and transitioning and shifting depending on many alignments, that in this particular year, what you call from an astrological standpoint is very, very, very intense. And this intensity just simply amplifies and accelerates that in which had been part of the experience before. And simultaneously, this web of unified energy, as so many of you, your nervous systems and DNAs are turning on, and your light bodies are accelerating and are activated, begins to create a new state of consciousness. And it is that consciousness that is moving so rapidly that is collapsing potential timelines that are no longer needing to play themselves out in your human experience, but will be what we call pop-ups, will flare into your reality. And these are opportunities to notice them, bring awareness, bring healing, bring compassion, but not hook into them as a full out blown potential timeline.
Thank you, Raphael. And so, speaking of the fires, there have been a couple people in our community that have really felt the connection of the inner Earth star beings. And so, could you tell us a little bit about what they do, how we can help them, or build a relationship with them, or if there's anything that they might want us to know?
It is that they are going through the ascension process, as are you. There are many beings in multidimensional realities that live and dwell inside your earth. We understand from a scientific perspective and linear thinking, this sounds absurd. And yet we must remind you that just because you cannot perceive it from your mind's eye in this way does not mean that it is not real. And inside your earth are civilizations, crystalline cities, energetic beings, and what you are calling inner beings. These beings have stayed mostly to themselves and operate within the earth, going about and are holding many energies for your ascension process. But as you are going through this ascension process, they are too. To date, they have had a trust issue in terms of feeling comfortable showing themselves or coming to the surface to meet with surface dwellers, because of the frequency is not a match and they are not sure of the full intention of humanity as a whole. Yet they are feeling the pulsation of movement that is taking place in what many of you call the awakening of humanity, the change in so many collectively. As this is happening, it is creating a split, meaning their ability to assess and attune to frequencies that feel in alignment with their vibration and compared to those who perhaps do not, is easier for them to detect and to attune to. And so they are rising up and showing themselves. As you speak of these inner beings, they have a very strong connection to the elementals and also, of course, to the animal kingdom. to the animals that are surface dwellers, in addition to those within the inner earth. They are coming and often are connected in a telecommunication process where they telepathically commute with the animals that are here on earth and be able to, through this communication, warn them of times in which, similar to what you speak of in this fire, is happening so that they can find a ground and they can be safe and protected from these elements that are expanded and also accelerated at this time. This communication between these inner beings and those on the surface are energies of warning systems that can help others to remove themselves out of harm's way during times of what appears collapsing timelines or destructive energies that are part of the transformational and transmutation process. And these beings that are coming from inside or are thought of as star beings are also coming from outside, meaning they are coming in through all different avenues, through the portals that are open now, in which stargates have more accessibility to surface dwellers such as yourself here on Earth. Due to this, there will be great changes inside the Earth, meaning you will start to notice the rise of waters and changes in the structures of continents, in which there will be changes and new ocean waters will be born. Part of this is accelerated from the inner earth beings and the galactic waters that hold specific codes that are coming up and rising into and affecting your plant systems and your soils, in which new organisms will begin to grow and the earth itself will begin to rejuvenate itself. In addition to that, you will notice great changes in your skies. Many of you have noticed that there are changes and are witnessing things. It is very important to be clear that some of these things are artificial and man-made in order to be what we call false timelines that can create hysteria and fear. Do not be fooled by these artificial energies, but know simultaneously that your skies, in which have always been to date something in which seemed very vast and infinite and almost empty, will start to fill over periods of time, and there will be traffic and changes inside your skies and operating systems. That is why it is very important to attune to what we call the organic grid system, or the mother source creation grid vibration, in which is organic versus inorganic.
Wow, Raphael, thank you so much for that answer. And so, another question that I have is that there are a lot of people in our group that were raised in a Judeo-Christian faith, whether they were Catholic or Christian or Jewish or whatever it might be. And some of them have brought to my attention that the way that they were raised was not to worship any false idols, right? And some of them were wondering how that has to play with when we do the light codes and we're doing these prayers to Lakshmi and all this kind of stuff. And since you're an archangel, we were wondering what your perspective or answer would be for people wondering that.
Well, from our perspective, it is all source. It is all one. It is all God. It is all frequency. It is all energy. It is all light. It is not to be perceived as something dark or false, because it is true to the matrix of all energies. From our perspective, this energetic being holds a template, and that template is in the relationship to that of abundance. Not necessarily in the way in which you are all thinking. Of course, it can bring in abundance that comes in the form of wealth, but it is the abundance of your inner knowing, moving into a deep state of bliss and communion with the divine. That divine energy can be labeled as many things. It is all encompassing, and it loves and adores all things, for it is the creator of all that is, and that all that has ever been, and all that ever shall be. For that creation loves everything and all things simultaneously, without judgment. It comes from a state and a place of complete and absolute love. This energy and frequency comes from the same frequency of love, bringing and bestowing upon those who are tuning to its vibration many blessings and connecting to its vibration. It is an energy that holds the vibration of abundance itself. Just as all things carry certain templates, energies, and frequencies that are in alignment with a certain blueprint, the blueprint that resides inside of you may be deeply in relationship to the energy of an artist or a musician or a healer. And yet you are not worshiping any of those things, but you may seek that healer or that musician for the energy in which it carries, in which you attune to its vibration. And it is no different than attuning to the template and the frequency of Lakshmi. It is simply that this energy cannot be held in or seen because it is not embodied in the way in which you know in the physicality of form, and yet it is no less worthy than that of which can be seen through the naked eye, nor is God itself. And so when you attune to the frequency of any energy, whether that be of the Christ or Jesus, or that of Buddha or Lakshmi, these energies in themselves carry an energetic template of potency that has been built over thousands and thousands of years, that is vibrating at a very high frequency based on the energy of love. And they carry specific templates. And when you attune to those templates, it ignites that energy and template and blueprint inside of you as you become a match to it. And so it is never false unless you identify it and see it as false or negative, and that it is no longer holding the template in which perhaps your original intent to align with is possible.
Thank you so much. And so we're going to open it up to questions from other people, and we're going to start with Maggie. One second, Maggie. I have to allow you to unmute yourself. Just 1 second. All right, Maggie, try to unmute yourself now. Go
Thank
ahead.
you. I guess I want to ask, and this is a general question. A lot of us do meditation. Is there another small practice that each of us can do that help us tune into a higher vibration, or to you, Angel Raphael, more easily?
Well, it is that I am here. I am always here. Of course, it's easier to access me as the sun is setting or early morning hours as you are beginning to wake. There is a sliver here in these waking hours that it is easier as your thinking mind has not begun to move. You may also go outside and notice me as my energy rises during this time and is easily more accessible to you. There is something that you can begin to do if you are wanting, which is to begin to spin. As you spin your physical body rapidly, about 33 times, and finish it, allowing the energy and light to move down and ground into the earth, energies begin to soar up from underneath and through your pranic tube or spinal column, beginning to open up your toric field. As this toric field begins to move more rapidly, the pulsations of energies that are vibrating with that field are more easily accessed, including mine. I am always here, and I always love you, and I am always present. Just simply continue to intend and invite me, for I am easily accessible to you more than ever before. And remember and know always that you are never alone.
Thank you, Maggie, for your question. All right, I'm gonna go to Ra just because I saw her question in the chat and I think it's relevant to the previous question. So go ahead.
Oh, thank you so much for allowing me to ask a question. Raphael, so much love and gratitude being here in your presence and everyone's presence. My question is around the financial system. I live in California and the fires, there's a lot of fear and devastation. Other channelers right now are speaking about the collapse of the money system, turning into digital, taking our money out of the bank, putting it in a credit union, buying currency. There's so much going around that I have no idea what to do, and a lot of people are feeling the same panic. What can we do? Are there steps that we can take in regards to the money banking system that they're saying is right around the corner that's coming? Thank you.
This is part and included in one of what we call the collapsing timelines. Many different scenarios that appear to be almost Armageddon-like may continue to present themselves and penetrate consciousness. This is done for the purpose of creating chaos and panic and fear. It is very important to direct your attention to the frequency of trust, to the frequency of abundance, to the frequency and the remembering that you are in alignment in the perfect place at the perfect time for your soul's evolution. You can choose to grasp or to hoard or to collect things or to shift or to change your money or currency. There are infinite amount of potential timelines around your financial system that are coming in right now very rapidly. One of those particular timelines, yes, is the collapse of how you have perceived the exchange of money to date. And the savings and the things in which you have in place would disappear as numbers on a screen that simply are no longer there. But yet you must remember that that is all they have ever been and nothing more but numbers in which you have all agreed upon that are either there or not there. As you are collectively moving into higher frequency as individual groups that collaborate into a higher web of light, you will begin to be the energy and the frequency of the particular timeline that will choose you, and you will be safe and protected. There are certain things that you might decide, depending on which timeline you are rising toward or with, to protect yourself. But we can assure you that if this collapse does occur, it occurs for all of humanity simultaneously, in which you will be forced to create shifts and changes collectively together. For it is not that all, at all the time, simultaneously, will find themselves in a deep state of deprivation and lack. It is when you attune or plug into this frequency of fear, you are perpetuating the potentiality of the timeline. These timelines are going to continue to pop up. And as they do so, they can, as easily as they have arrived, disappear and collapse, depending upon the amount of beings in human form, meaning the humans, choose to place attention upon them. And that is why we encourage you to continue to find balance, to find harmony, to find peace within. You may say, well, I would have peace within if the angel Raphael would tell me if I should move my money to cryptocurrency or if I should put it under my mattress or take it out of my bank account. But even if you were to do any and all of these things, it perhaps would be a temporary solution to the timeline in which you're speaking of, because that particular timeline would create enormous change in which communities would come together and the way in which you exchange goods and services would shift, and you as a whole would shift. And so there will continue to be choice points between organic and inorganic timelines. And so as you hold the frequency of trust, knowing in the depth of your own being that you are cared for, that you are safe, that things will come into alignment, synchronicities will occur, others will stand to protect you, and you for yourself, all is well. Continue to hold that inner knowing and that trust, to live at a higher standard, not to drop into the fear of potential pop-up timelines that as fast as you are approaching them, as quickly as they are appearing, and as intense as they might seem, are also disappearing, and new ones built on peace and unity, love, collaboration, prosperity, and free energy are also popping up. Notice that through the military complex, wars might appear. But if you place your attention on that, the polarity of that will appear also, in which peace will come up and agreements of union will appear. There will always be a polarity or an opposite to that in which you place attention upon. And as you collectively, through the web of creation and the Mother Source creation grid, collectively choose to see free energy and the shackles of lack disappearing as you move into an energy of freedom and abundance for all, you then collectively create that. That decision is not based on what many of you call the controllers, when only if you give them your energy and they feed off the emotion and the vibration of fear. If fear is not emanating out from the collective, and the collective is able to maintain a state of harmony within the structure of their blueprint, holding the vibration and the vision of unity and freedom and prosperity for all, then that particular timeline disappears. It collapses because it has nowhere to hook in or to plug into the matrix as a projection in your experience. The projection in which you experience is based on the frequency that is held. And yes, you are interconnected to the collective. And so, yes, it is not only your own personal experience of your own vibration, but that of the collective. And that is why feeding into the collective fear or scenarios or stories in which lack pervades across your planet of great despair in which there is not enough perpetuates that timeline that to this moment is simply a pop-up, a window, a sliver into a potentiality that does not need to come into form for the collective as truth. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you, Raphael. Thank you, Ra. All right, Dee, you're next.
Okay, I've unmuted, and thank you, Raphael, for the opportunity to ask a question today.
Yeah.
Is there any reason to be concerned or at least aware of any large-scale landmass changes in North America, especially on the West Coast or the Midwest, as far as land sinking below the surface of the ocean due to volcanoes erupting, or the Great Lakes expanding past their current borders during the next 30 years?
Yes. There will be many shifts and changes in the current outline of how you see your geometries of your particular geographical locations and patterns. Your weather will change dramatically, and due to this, the ascension process in the earth will create eruptions. These eruptions will come through volcanoes, through earthquakes, and changes, where new land masses will be formed and new ocean waters will appear. This place that you speak of is one that what be called a hot spot in a sense, where the energy is a bit volatile and the potential for great change in these land masses is possible here. However, we recognize in saying this that this sends waves of fear across your land, and this is not our intention. And so we are wanting you to know that many things will be changing in the next 30 years, including your capacity and awareness through technologies and intuitive knowings as the upgrade within your body, cellular structure, and DNA to have full awareness prior to such cataclysmic activity in which warnings would be available and the loss of life would be unnecessary. And so, in the meantime, we encourage you to relax and to trust again where you are at any given moment and feel into the space and the land. As you are feeling into the space and the land, you will attune to its vibration and it will send you signals. If you are aligned with it, it will let you know, like an impulse that will move through your body, a feeling, a remembering, such as the inner beings and the galactic beings too are here communicating with you. You'll feel a pulsation both from the earth and other dimensional realities, and a signal will go off inside. That signal will tell you it is time to move or to go to a different location, and so you will simply follow your own intuitive knowing. If the signal does not go off, that means that you are ready to transcend into another dimension and you will be part of the change or transmutation or transformation that takes place during that time, and you will simply pass on to your next incarnation. Even though that appears to you in itself to be catastrophic, it is not, because you will not remain in your physical body for eternity in the current form that you are in, for you will go through the death process. And if it is in alignment with your blueprint to experience your death process in that way, then so be it. And the transcendence to where you will be embraced in such love and light is spectacular, in which you will witness the changes from a higher dimensional reality. However, if you are meant to be a witness from a different perspective, that signal will go off. And so we encourage all of you to pay attention to the land, to walk barefoot on it, to walk in the woods, to lay upon it, to let it whisper to you, to feel its sensations, its pulsations, its energy, its information. It is always speaking to you. It is always telling you what is coming. You may not be able to feel and know exactly the timing because it doesn't operate in the same time sequence and timelines in which you operate in linear. It is more holographic, but you know its energy and you can ask and invite it to signal to you if something needs to change geographically for where it is that you are placed in order to not experience something dramatic such as that. However, the ascension of your earth is occurring as it is for you and for the earth and all living beings within the universe at this time. You will be experiencing great change.
Thank you so much. Denise, go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, Raphael. It's so
Hello.
you. Um, I'd like to know what you think we can expect in the area of social media in the next year or two. And I'm hoping there will be platforms available that are more in integrity and more effective in helping small business owners connect with their followers and their communities.
It will change dramatically even within this year. It is accelerating and moving much faster, just as you are moving faster and your consciousness is moving faster. Many of you will choose to unplug from certain media channels and certain algorithms and certain social media outlets that you have been accustomed to. And yes, just like timelines shifting, some popping up and some disappearing, new ones will arise, and they will bring and cluster together like-minded beings that are in integrity, holding the frequency of truth from a high vibration. Of course, one of the most important things in the days, years, weeks to come is the energy of discernment and choosing to discern what platforms are arising, what their intentionality is, who owns them, what programming they are aligning to, and if they are organic or inorganic. But the question is, will there be ones that are holding a high frequency of integrity to a higher standard for the purpose of connection, communication, and sharing at the highest frequency? Yes, and they will begin to appear in your experience. The ability for you to bring into your awareness anything to create, intend, and manifest is faster than ever before. Simply placing your attention for even a short period of time of the invitation for the wave of that energy of a platform that can support you with your business in sharing through a place of integrity and truth come into your experience, that will happen very rapidly. And you can attune to that and use that place and energy to connect with others.
Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. Thanks, Archangel Raphael. Rena.
Casey. So here's my question. Raphael, we've been talking about all this tumult, if you will, that's been going on, all of the changes and the fires that are blazing through California. And I've been very curious about this, and it turns out that many arsonists have been revealed during the past week. And I'd like to know if you could tell us what their role is.
There are many potentialities as to these fires, why it is that they are here, how they have begun, who has begun them. And the question is, do you know that in your own being? And if you were to know, what is it that you could do differently? And so if there was an arsonist that began this fire, what is it that you can do about that in this moment? How is it that you can change that? And the answer, most likely, is there is nothing that you can do regarding that. But what it is that you can do is choose to hold a frequency of love and compassion for those who are affected by this, and not to allow scenarios and energies of judgment to come into focus and ideas of how things are taking place or why they are taking place, because that is generating a lot of fear. These scenarios and potential reasons for why this is happening creates fear and a sense of being out of control and a deep energy and mentality of victimhood. And so we encourage all of you, unless you are know for truth or the witnessing of your own eye of something specific to be, to focus on the energy of the specific timeline that is projecting energies of Armageddon and destructive forces and controllers beginning to desolate particular places for specific agendas, creates a deep sense of victimhood and fear within those who are experiencing that potential agenda, which expands this specific timeline and amplifies it because it becomes a working timeline and a platform that then can be used all over the planet in different scenarios. And it emanates the vibration of fear. And so we encourage at this time to focus on loving and supporting those who have experienced trauma from these fires, whether that be those who have lost their homes or those who have lost their jobs, or animals that perhaps at this time are feeling abandoned and afraid, and to send resources to support those who are in need and to unplug from agendas based on fear. What is it that I mean by that? Sometimes there is a revealing and exposing of energies that are labeled as dark, and to gather information about that as a potentiality is something that can reveal it. However, it is very important simultaneously not to feel out of control from it, the victim of it, or in fear of it, because that simply is an energy or an emotion that can be harnessed by other agendas to continue to proliferate specific things. And in doing so, that attention then expands the frequency and the potential of a timeline that at this time is simply a pop-up timeline that is collapsing. And so all energy and attention is and should be placed on healing, regeneration, rebuilding, resetting, transmutation, and beauty as community and loved ones come together and healing occurs.
Thank you, Raphael. Rosanna.
Thank you. My question is with knowing how everything works and what we're supposed to do when we're losing loved ones, close ones, what is can you give us or give me some guidance on what is the best way to go through this, allowing oneself to grieve, but also helping the collective, helping the loved one that's passed on? I find myself kind of, how much should we grieve? Is that healthy? Should we just find joy? And it's just a little confusing, I think, right now with everything going on.
It is very important to grieve. It is very important to feel everything, including grief and sorrow and pain. For there is much unfolding on your planet, and there is much to grieve. For as you are grieving the death of a loved one, that is a separation of their human form, their energy, their touch, their connection to you in this experience. As much as you know and understand and recognize that they are in a state of purity and bliss, soaring in the heavens and attuned to the frequency of oneness, you feel a separation from them. Although temporary, it is real, and there is pain with that. That is true also with the separation and the grief for all of you of the world in which you have known to date, the changes that are taking place so rapidly, the familiarity of what was true or not true, the illusions rising and popping up one after another, the feeling of a sense of the earth moving beneath you, a feeling of not knowing what is next. All of this bringing you to a state in which you must drop into a place of authenticity, deep, real authenticity. And if that authenticity in this moment for you is deep sadness and grief, which is part of the human experience, we encourage you to feel it, not to wallow in it, not to be caught or to be stuck in it, but for it to pass through you. And as it passes through you, to feel it deeply, to feel everything deeply, all of your joy deeply, all of the beauty on the planet deeply, all of the sensations and the senses of the human experience deeply, including that of the tears that roll down your face and the sorrow and pain or the tear in your heart. That is all part of the humanness. That is part of why you're here, the feeling of all of that. When you repress it and simply bypass your grief, moving only into a state of joy, this is unauthentic. This is a false timeline. This is an energy that bypasses truth. And that suppressed energy that is pushed down creates illness and dis-ease in the body. And it is that suppressed energy that has to find its way to the surface for transmutation. So if you can allow the waves of grief to flow over you and to experience them as they come in and out, you will find yourself eventually merging back into the sea of oneness and the remembering of your own divinity connected to that in which appears in this moment lost, but is always and forever within your own heart.
Thank you, Raphael.
Thank you.
Karita.
Thank you. Hi, Raphael.
Hello.
Hello. There is so much wisdom amongst the indigenous people on this planet. And I'm thinking of all that wisdom that we could just, that we would need right now. And I'm thinking, are there special pockets of wisdom or areas or tribes or can be that we could bridge to so that we could help that or support that wisdom to come forth to the public? Do you understand what I mean?
Yes, yes. Well, it is that they are resurfacing. And it is that finally you're beginning to pay attention to this ancient wisdom. And it comes from every continent and it rises everywhere. And you may feel called to certain traditions, to certain sounds, to certain texts, to certain ways of being, to dream time, to walkabouts, to connecting to the animal kingdom, to attuning to the spirits, the wisdom that comes from the template of the deep indigenous ones and the great grandmothers. They are here and they have been speaking to you, whether it is the Aborigines or it is the Hopis or it comes from an ancient old traditions. As these changes on your planet happen, their voices will become louder and stronger, and they will lead the way and they will bring you home back to the origin of who you are. As the waters change and they rise across the globe, they will open up pathways to see things you haven't seen before that have been hidden beneath the surface, caves that have not been found, information inside of them, archaeological sites and teachings, not just that of the deep indigenous ones that still echo a calling of their teachings across your globe, but ones that have been buried beneath the surface too will rise. Scrolls will be found, texts will be known, songs will be sung. Listen to these elders. Remember your elders. Remember and hear their call. They have been sending waves of warnings, inviting you to return back to the earth, back to the water, back to the natural ways, to balance, to simplicity, to the release of the material and the remembering of the internal joy that rises from within, connected to the elements and all that is. And so look to them, listen to them. They have been whispering, but soon their voices will become louder, and you will bow to them, knowing that you have taken so much from them. But they come with forgiveness, they come with teachings, and those teachings are everywhere. Simply look for them and know they are there.
Thank you so much. Sebis.
Hey, so completely different topic, but is there a deeper meaning of sexual intimacy, or is it just for, obviously, it's not just for reproduction, but what's a deeper meaning between it of joy and pleasure and the energy behind it?
This too, like the indigenous teachings, is being revealed and unveiled in the deep remembering that it has always been so much more than that of the orgasm or procreation, that it is the union and the energy that comes together that brings forth creation itself and opens stargates into higher dimensions in which you can reach a state of great bliss and oneness and an expandedness within your own being. This is the union of an aspect in which is often spoken of as a twin flame frequency or a vibration or energy that coming together brings a wholeness within that of your soul's being. This energy is now more accessible and available to many of you at this time as energies have been unplugged and openings are occurring and unions are taking place. And so there are many different layers to the sexual unfolding of your human experience, but you have been denied or seen to look at it through your programming often as something negative or something not to speak of, or for it to be hidden or for you to be clothed. And as you are opening up the energy and it moves through your body and the Kundalini begins to rise, you begin to merge in the most sensual way with the union of self into an awakened state in which it accelerates your ascension process. Union through sexuality and the fluids that come together between these energies that rise through the spine as the serpent comes to the surface is an energy that accelerates your ascension process into higher dimensions.
Thank you, Raphael. And our last question tonight will be from Stephanie Rose.
Love, love, love to everyone here. Thank you for this beautiful co-creation. I am so grateful to share my beautiful experience at this time with 3 wonderful cats, and they are out doing their work. And when they come home, I'm just wondering, for those of us that have just such beautiful animals in our pets, if you will, how can we best support them? Because I know that they're going through this just as much, and each 3 of my cats are showing different symptoms. They have different personalities, and how can we support them and just to move through this with grace, ease, and gentleness? Thank you.
Yes, they are needing more attention from their human connection than they have ever before. They are also warning systems, and they will alert you of energies and changes that are coming, in addition to connecting with the solar flares that will be amplifying and the earth changes that are taking place. Begin to focus on your capacity to communicate with them telepathically, as they have messages for you and you for them. Simply, the answer to your question is to love them as you already do, unconditionally. But it is also an invitation for all those listening to pay more attention to your animals, not just those that are domesticated as pets within your own home, but those who roam on the land in your yards or around you, to listen to them and pay attention. They are speaking louder than ever before, and your ability to telepathically communicate to one another and come back into union, which was its original intent, and receive messages from them filled with beauty and excitement and joy and bliss, and also warnings, are available to you if you shall choose to attend and pay attention to them. With that, I send to you all of my love and all of my light. And I remind you to remain centered, to remain grounded, to remain in harmony, to release judgment of yourself and others, to continue to choose the timeline of love, unity, and prosperity and freedom for all. And with that, many blessings, much love, and good day.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. I hope you have a beautiful day and a beautiful weekend. If you're in the Abundance Light Code, I'll see you Monday morning at 9 a.m. Casey will see you tomorrow. Otherwise, feel the joy. Stay in the love. We got this. Don't get caught up in the fear. If you're feeling anxiety, feel it and then let it go.